I have a question about style for you, for the guitarists here.
Okay.
What did you reject and said, no, I don't want to play this to find your style?
Probably like the shred atmosphere, the shred universe, unfortunately.
So, yeah, I kind of knew that answer. I would expect that answer because you were very young, like playing the Dream Theater and stuff, right?
Well, listening to you, like you and Juninho, Edu, like the three major guitar players in Brazil. That's how I grew up listening to you. And then
so at some point, just like, I like this, but I don't want to be that.
It was more like a frustration, honestly.
Oh, really?
Because I could see you guys shredding, and I could get that shred thing. No, for real though. Like, but it's just like
you were doing this when he was one of those like 10 years old guys, like playing all the angry stuff.
Yeah, I could
right?
get
like
playing that, but
9 years old.
But it was just like, maybe frustration is a little too deep to say, but I just got in a way that I was just like, man, this guy's already played all that stuff. Like, what am I? There's no space for me, especially like after watching Guthrie. And when Guthrie showed up, I was like, man, there's nothing else to do. Because it was just so innovative and everything was just so well played that I was like, it was extremely inspirational, but at the same time I was like, man, I don't think there's much more else to go. It's kind of like playing, I mean, nothing against like new blues players, but like after Steve Ray or I don't know, Bonamassa, or, we could find like Philip Sace doing some kind of different things, but it's so complicated. Like the variety just gets so, minimal. And what I tried to do was, thankfully I got introduced to John Mayer's music. And that was, I don't know, 2000.
So that was a big change.
It was. It's like, the three marks in my music history is like knowing you guys, Kiko, Juninho, Edu, and I'm not saying that because I'm in front of you. This is like really like the beginning of it. And then the second mark is knowing John Petrucci. And the third, game-changing, it was John Mayer. So after listening to John Mayer and knowing a little bit about how this sounds, and then finding out that John Mayer's influences were Steve Ray and Jimi Hendrix, then I realized and I found a space of like, well, I could explore this in a way, and I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, I'm like the continuation of that, but it's just like there's a little more, like I could use what I've learned from you guys in the shred universe.
Because you have a way better technique in this way.
And then add on this Jimi Hendrix where like the feel is more like driven, if that makes any sense. Like it's more about like how you like commit like some type of rhythm, you know what I mean?
But you have something that I when I hear your music, I think comes from Brazil. Do you think you have a Brazilian music influence?
Not as you, like
No.
the real Brazilian. Oh yeah, well I grew up.
Besides the you mentioned like the guitar players, but like more.
I grew up.
Traditional.
No, not traditional. Well.
Or even the radio stuff.
But radio for sure, like Roupa Nova, because my dad, my dad was used to listen all the time.
So
like,
at home, so what's the music in your house?
It was Roupa Nova, Os Incríveis, more like the Velha Guarda kind of thing. What else? I mean, you guys.
Roupa Nova is like the Toto
of Brazil, yeah.
Kind of,
so super romantic driven, but it's more like Roupa Nova, Skunk.
Okay.
So yeah, Skunk was more like a pop thing going on, and a lot of like the church Brazilian gospel stuff, and Angra, Oficina G3. Oficina G3 was like pretty much like, well, I want to get into music after listening to Juninho's, but
no, I think
not as crazy like as, for example, you like with João Gilberto and all these guys.
But you have something that I believe is Brazilian, which is the sense of harmony. Because you talk about Steve Ray Vaughan, Hendrix, Steve Ray Vaughan, right? Yeah. Or even John Mayer. Yeah. It's much simpler. that we play. It may technically or stylistic is kind of the same.
Yeah.
But you have like those special chords or special transitions that I believe or it comes from the Brazilian music because Brazilian music has that, and Brazilian music, in even skunk, has that flavor because the Minas
that's true.
style, and somehow it's there in the Brazilian music. Maybe you got from
I think
from
it's probably from
Angra, Dream
church.
Theater, and
Yeah.
or the church might have. It depends.
Because like the
I don't know.
hymns,
The hymns,
they have a
the gospel. I
It's-
mean, if Hill songs, maybe not.
no, well, actually, Hillsong has some beautiful like
I
the
don't
old
know
school
much.
old
Okay.
school Hillsong is like crazy like chord changes, like
see.
super melodic.
Okay,
and
then
stuff.
the gospel.
Yeah,
with a
the
lot
gospel,
of,
like the old school gospel, kind of gives me that as
Okay,
well.
cool, yeah,
But
okay,
I mean,
from
you
that.
guys as well, like Angra stuff, like
But I always think like the Brazilian pop music that plays in the radio, maybe not much your generation, maybe a little bit before, was the harmonies were so sophisticated.
Like
with
who?
Gilberto Gil, Caetano.
Yeah.
Those guys, Djavan.
Well, Djavan for sure,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. All these three, I believe, like from all these three guys, I'll probably like listen more like of Djavan.
Oh yeah, okay.
Djavan.
Djavan. Cool stuff. And well, thanks a lot. Now